How you doing, everyone? Sorry for the late upload. It's been a pretty busy weekend, but we're here for 3 games for our Saturday night there, and we start with the Bunnies v the Tigers, 30-16 there, and the fantasy scores on the website here are still struggling. So we're going to avoid talking too much around the stats, just generally around how these players went in these games and what to work out from here. We've had a really good game from Johnson again with 72, and some massive one for Big Tino there with 81. So obviously got the try and some big stats through the middle there. And he's not someone that we have spoken about too much. And same with Greg Marzu. There's 3 guys here. Johnson, a few people have spoken about as potentially a guy that could play pretty role through this period and score a bunch of tries, and he continues to do so. But remember, his scoring is going to be based off how the Bunnies go. If the Bunnies start to win a bunch of games, then he's going to do well. And you can see he obviously has hung pretty well around his price point to start the year. Sexton's come out with a good game, and if you were thinking about picking him up a couple of weeks ago, then you come out and he's delivered for you, which is really, really nice. So Sexton with 68, good stuff. Cook there with 63, you're really, really happy with in a backup game from Origin. So plenty of work through the middle there, getting involved in attack as well, exactly what we wanted for Cook there. Graham came out with a nice game as well. Obviously did plenty out there, and he's continuing to show his improvement as a player in general, and also his fantasy scoring. Moving to the left is such a big deal for Graham, and I think that with him not playing Origin, he becomes a pretty solid option in the centres as well if you're looking for something like that, and you're pretty well over Isaac Tungo or Taylor May or these types of guys. I'm obviously doing this after all these games today, so making some comment around that, obviously, there. Murray, 49, so pretty much what we would have expected from him, considering he was backing up from Origin and played some decent minutes there and wasn't going to get the 80 minutes in this one. So Murray, solid one without being spectacular, is what it is. Jai Arrow, both for more, so 49 and 46, both guys that you can definitely be holding through the next few weeks. Arrow looks like round 17 is going to be sweet for him. Obviously being able to play in that one, which will be really, really nice. So there's a good reason to be holding him, unless he gets pushed back into the Origin team, where in round 17 we can work that out. And then Bowie, you can keep holding in him until I'd say round 17 would be fine, because he's had a couple of decent scores there. If you picked up Havili, you got a 41 out of him in 36 minutes there, or whatever it was. But a really good effort from him to get a bunch of attacking stats with some offloads, a couple of tackle breaks there, which doesn't show here. But yeah, you'll take the 42 out of him and get a nice little price bump. So if you went for that one, well done this week. Paul Turner came out with a 39, so he was pretty light in his scoring early on the game and came out with a 39. So good stuff for him. If you're holding Ilias like myself, then you'll take the 33. It's pretty much what we would have expected. I'm not going to be expecting him to make too much cash, and we're looking for that to hold. Looking for him to hold steady, get me a 35 or 40 in that round 17, and then we move him on. We're probably going to be downgrading him and going from there. In terms of anyone else in here, we've got Cody Walker, obviously with a low one, 27, unfortunately for him, and continues his up down kind of nature. And Eric Clark with a much lower game this week. So that's the first game of that Saturday night, and we'll move to the Roosters v the Storm, and for some very strange scores in this one, to be honest with you. You had Marion Seve and Kafusi getting big scores there, 83 and 73 for 2 non-relevant guys at all. And this is a big one, team. How last week we had Butcher play 39 minutes to get 31 points when we really, really needed him. And a few guys, including my head-to-head team, actually moved on from him this week, considering that he might get that 40 to 50 minutes. He's not going to be playing in 17. He's not a keeper. And then he comes out and he gets the 80 minutes through the middle for 69 points there, which was just incredible. And if you've held on to him, which I did suggest that we should be holding on to him for a few weeks here, at least the one, and see what happens. And then Egan, his brother, got taken off the bench last minute, and they had a very rookie-based bench there, and that allowed him to get a bunch of extra minutes, obviously. But the 80 is crazy, so yeah. Happy days if you own Butch, and yeah, that's that. If you own Meany, you got a 54 from him, so you'll take that for sure, hoping you're playing him in this one. Taukeiaho with the 53 you take. Crichton with the 50 points was just an okay one, so a solid one from him, considering he's had a bunch of good games recently. Thankfully, last week, for those that captained him, he got that extra 10 points, but we'd hope for him to get up to that high 50s to 60 average for the next bunch of weeks. Joshua King with 47 if you're still owning him. Anderson on debut, 46, so well done to him with a couple of tries. We got Harry Grant there with 42, so getting decent minutes off the bench, scoring okay if you held on to him. then you'd obviously love him to get back to 80 minutes next week and get out and kill it. Swali'i with 39, so he had a nice game and he kind of slowed down near the end. Teddy with 35 and Joey Manu with 31. So obviously both not ideal scores there. And just, you probably expect a little bit better. And obviously this is a close game, right? But really, even with 3 tries there, they should be getting involved in something. Obviously, if you're the Storm, that you're going to game plan to those 2 guys. So I wouldn't think too much into it, to be honest. Teddy backed up. You managed to get a score out of him. Obviously, it wasn't amazing, but that's why I was kind of also worried about you picking up Manu this week, that he was going to be playing in the centres and it was up against Storm. So just, there's things you need to be aware of heading forward. But they're both fine. They're both going to be holds. Jerome Hughes there is obviously a bit of a worry if you picked him up, but I still think that if we can see a game or 2 good out of him in the next 2, 15, 16, we could potentially pick him up in 17 and hold him as a keeper through the rest of the season, I think would be the only real thoughts around him. And unfortunately, Kiri went off after 30 minutes with a 14, so it's really annoying for anyone who picked him up. You picked up obviously a pretty low score and could be out from here on in. So very, very sad for Kiri owners and also Brandon Smith owners with the 20. That is that game. Let me know your thoughts around that one. All right, Broncos up against the Raiders, and this one was obviously marred with some great scores, but also some bad injuries and stuff as well. So you could have snuck out with this one really, really good if you didn't own Payne Haas and you own guys like Elliott, for example. But you could also get out of it pretty poorly as well. But we've been speaking about Joey Tarpany the last bunch of weeks and how good he's been going, and obviously a great option for anyone's side. And the only main issue with him was that he wasn't going to be playing 17, but this 94 that he picked up just smashes that out of the park as in terms of it being even a slight worry as him being a pickup. And 94 with just over 200 meters, plenty of tackle breaks, plenty of offloads, was just incredible. So well done to Joey, well done to Hudson Young, and also Corey Horsburgh and Elliott, which all got tries there. Elliott being a really important one. I spoke about potentially people picking up Horsburgh 2 weeks ago, and he picked up a 48, I believe, and a 67. So a nice mid-range guy, getting some big minutes through this Raiders pack has done really well for him and anyone who picked him up. Owned by 0.7%. Anyone who does own that beautiful man have done well. Adam Elliott with the 66 there with 10% ownership, so a much higher one there. And has picked up the try, and the work ethic in the minutes has been awesome the last few weeks. So obviously had that 43 minutes for some reason, and the last 2 he's been big minutes and scored awesome with a try in each of them. So don't expect that going forward, but at 557, some big price rises, last week and also this week to come and potentially over the next few weeks. So pretty exciting for anyone who owns Adam Elliott. You're doing really well. Elliott, McInnes, these types of guys, and obviously Butcher, done really well. Flegler did great. Carrigan just continues to, his work ethic's incredible. I love watching him play. He had a great game again after smashing Origin and just playing big minutes in this one as well. He's just a freak. Billy Walters obviously got big minutes in this one. Corey Pakes went down injured, so a bit annoying for anyone who owns him. But if you're still holding on to Walters, he obviously got a high score. You probably didn't play him, but you'll get that price rise over the next few weeks, which is what you're really here for there. All right, Fogs, Sprenko Lee, nice scores there. 50 for Reynolds. So obviously he was doing really well and then went off after 60 minutes with his rib issue. Unsure at this stage how it's going to look into the next few weeks, but obviously really annoying. And he's now this will be his 3rd injury this year, so not good. It's something I thought about when I was thinking about picking him up in the head-to-head squad was just his injury history. Yes, he's going to be great scoring overall over the next bunch of weeks and going into the end of the season, but it was more the fact that, just around the injuries, and he's obviously picked up one in the first game that we've selected him. So if you've done the same, obviously a bit annoying, but you will thankfully take the 50 and run with it. Xavier Savage and Ezra Mann both getting 45, and I was truly trying to work out which one I should be picking. Do we go for Ezra on my bench? Do we go for Savage? And they both end up scoring the same, and Ezra obviously scoring really early. He's going to be a special player. Hey, he's a lot of talent. It's really exciting to see him. It's exciting to see Xavier Savage in open pasture as well. That line break at the start, that line break in the second half as well. Both of them look really good, and it's exciting for all the young talent coming through each and every year. There's another good rookie or two that comes through and shows their dominance. So Ezra, I think he's going to be keeping that spot. So if you picked him up, you're really happy with the output. If you picked up Savage a couple of weeks ago, also happy. For those that I try to steer away from picking him up this week, it's just more around the fact that CNK is going to be back fairly soon. Really happy to see Jordan Pereira get his debut for the Broncos there with a 42 and a try. So happy for him. He's someone that we looked at picking up at the start of the year and obviously didn't end up coming through. Tommy Starling ended up with 40 this week, so he could have done that last week, would have been ideal, but thanks, mate, for that. Kobe Hetherington, 31. Papali'i, obviously a lower score for him, and lower minutes as well. Wolfwood with 27. His price rise will start to drop a little bit. And then Payne Haas, obviously 28 minutes for him, 24 points. Did what he needed to do. The shoulder just keeps, causing him troubles, and I can understand why people moved him on. He probably just shouldn't have played this game. Let's be honest. I think he's owned by about 52% of the top 5,000 now, 51 of the top 100. So, if you did own him this week, it obviously did hurt your scoring a little bit. Unfortunately, he's kind of the only guy that's really killed me, apart from, we'll speak about in the next video, but the Warriors guys, and then like a Joey Manu, but 31 from an outside back isn't terrible. So, yeah. Interesting to see what we're going to have to do for Payne next week. If he's going to get named, is he going to be missing a few weeks? Because if he's out next week and then 17, that's 2 of the next 3 weeks for a guy like that's carrying a bit of an injury is a bit of a worry. So we'll speak about him a little bit further. But yeah, a little bit annoying at this stage. And that's all I'm going to go through in this video. Sorry it's late again, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's see how many of you guys watch this before midnight on the Sunday night. And I'll get in tomorrow morning now that I'm finally home to knock out those couple of videos. So I hope you enjoyed this as always, guys. See ya in the next one.